Go ahead.
Hello, this is the Magna Faith Show. Of course, I'm Magna Faith, your host, and with me is the Honorable Mr. Showore. So I would like for him to introduce himself.
Omoyele Showore. I'm the publisher of Sahara Reporters, and hopefully the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by this time next year. President-elect by this time next year. We're gathered here to just exchange ideas with Nigerians in diaspora in the Maryland area. This is significant for me because this was the first place I landed in 1999 when I first arrived in the U.S. And I feel like this is to be the last point of stepping out to go back to Nigeria, to go fix Nigeria once and for all, with the help of all our compatriots who are seriously yearning for the idea whose time has come. That is to make sure that Nigeria is taken from the doldrums to the highest level possible that it deserves among the community of nations, so that its people can be respected, their dignity can be restored, and the Nigerian space can become sanitized to the benefit and for the benefit of its people.
Right. So, Mr. Showore, can you advise as regards your thoughts with the turnout today?
The turnout is more than we expected. I don't have the numbers yet, but as you can see, there are a lot of people here today. I have not had any gathering like this in the U.S. in which people are not promised food or some kind of opportunity to meet a governor or a president. This shows that Nigerians everywhere are asking for our kind of leadership, the leadership that has vision and that is focused and that's very, very firm and decisive and competent to take Nigeria from where it is now to a different level in a matter of just months from now.
Right. So are you the organization NIDO, Nigerians in Diaspora?
I'm aware of NIDO. I know them, yes.
So are you working with them, and how effective do you think that body is, and what role do you think they will play in this campaign?
We have been working with many organizations, and you saw the president of NIDO, here today, and I'm sure that NIDO primarily wants Nigeria to become a better country. So NIDO will be doing everything possible, and we'll be doing everything possible to work with every group in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, in African nations, European nations, North America, South America, Australia, everywhere, East Asia, countries of Arab, Middle East, to make sure that we get Nigeria back. There are over 6 million Nigerians outside of Nigeria legitimately earning their living, and we are calling on them to pull in and lean in to help Nigeria get out of the kind of leadership that it has now, terrible leadership, and put Nigeria in the hands of trusted, tested, and honest young person like me with boundless of energy, and just they will be happy that they took this decision.
Right. So, Mr. Showore, of course, I know that you're the publisher of Sahara News. What's your relationship like with the Nigerian embassy?
I do not have any special relationship with any government agency, embassies, because we actually put a client lead on every part of Nigeria, whether it's inside or outside of Nigeria. We report events dispassionately. In some cases, we found embassy officials wanting, and we have exposed them. We have to push to ensure that Nigerians get the best services possible. So when you are not giving your passport, Sahara Reporters will tell why it is not coming out. When they sell properties to themselves here in Washington, D.C. area and Maryland, we were the ones that exposed it. But where ambassadors of Nigeria have also done well, we've engaged with them. So we don't have any special relationship with any embassy, but we keep an eye on all of our officials, whether in and out of the country. So, yes, everybody knows Sahara Reporters, and Sahara Reporters somehow know everybody, everywhere.
Right. So, in the future, considering the fact that, of course, you said we're looking for next year as a president-elect, what are your plans as regards the Nigerian embassy and some of the things that you talked about? And of course, your plans as regards the Nigerian community here in diaspora. How can you get them to engage with and, to hopefully and forcefully effect change in Nigeria at home?
One thing I'll tell you first and foremost, that if I become president, I'm not going to send an 82-year-old man to become the ambassador of Nigeria to the U.S. I'm sorry, I don't discriminate against old people, but I don't think we should have done that. And Nigerians there will be so proud. One question we didn't get to answer inside there was the fact that, India used to have bad health, sector too. But what it did was create an enabling environment to invite back all the doctors in India who are based abroad, who want to come back home. Give them incentives, give them housing, give them security. Today, India has become the capital of medical tourism in the world. There are a lot of Nigerian doctors in this area alone, some of them retired, who still have the capability to go and help at home. But they don't want to go back home because they don't want to be kidnapped. They don't want to, allow Boko Haram to come kill them, in a local bombing. They don't like when the customs and immigration officers and the DSS officers ask them for bribe upon arrival, at whatever port of entry. So Nigerians in diaspora will facilitate things, movement, ease of business so well that, there will be no more Nigerians in diaspora because every Nigerian will be in Nigeria. We'll just be coming here like we used to do before on vacation. And this is achievable. I'm not saying that we all are going to relocate, but if you had to choose between being in a better Nigeria and staying here, winter, summer, spring, I'm sure you prefer to be in Nigeria. That's the case. We are finding Nigerians who are relocating back to Ghana. They're relocating back to Rwanda. They're relocating back to Benin Republic. They're relocating back to all sorts of smaller countries. But most Nigerians don't want to go back home. In fact, as I said, Nigeria is the only country that you can use to scare your child in the diaspora. And it's a shame. If you tell your child today, we are going to Jamaica, they'll be like, woo, let's go to Nigeria. Please, daddy, I don't want to go. That's a shame. Yeah, that's
right. So one pertinent question is, having interviewed so many people here today, they are, of course, very convinced. They were very impressed by the questions that were asked and, of course, the answers that you gave. And they said that, of course, it did strike them that this is the person. So with that said, how will you secure, or how would you protect yourself, considering that there's been a history of a rebellion in Nigeria as regards well-to-do and very effective candidates in times past?
A moving target, but I've always been. I lived in Nigeria before I came here. I was a student leader. I was arrested, jailed. Like somebody mentioned, I've been shot at. People tried to assassinate me before. I'm not looking for government security. I'm looking for people's security. And the moment that is in place, nothing can stop the moving train. The people will protect their assets. And what you are hearing today is that people see me as an asset that needs to be protected until we get the price.
Right. So, Mr. Showore, of course, I thank you for your time here, but I want you to say one last thing to Nigerians all around the world, all around the globe. I want you to look into the camera and tell them what you have in store for them, what's coming to them. Because I just learned about you maybe a week ago, and I'm excited, but I want Nigerians all around the globe and all around the world to know who you are and what you represent.
Again, Nigerians, I am promising you the best that you have never seen before in terms of restoring Nigeria's dignity, making our economy work for the Nigerian people, providing enabling environment for small businesses to thrive, for small and ordinary people to thrive, putting our education system back in place so that education will not only just be about going to a school building every morning, but it will be a place where you can receive literacy and appropriate education and knowledge, and that our hospitals will have drugs once again, and the doctors will no longer just be medical advisors for medical doctors, that our roads will no longer be killing you again because we can fix them. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest plans is to create an interstate road system in Nigeria, such that every Nigerian state is connected with a dual carriageway, and that will facilitate not only movement but business, but more importantly, to start thinking progressively also about creating mass transit system.